Welcome back to Florida Man Homesteading. I made my way back from the land this weekend. Now it's the middle of the week and it's beautiful here in Central Florida. It's 80 degrees in the middle of December, so can't complain after freezing a little bit this weekend out on the land. Today I wanted to just talk about a few different things. I just kind of wanted to show you, I kept mentioning that we were from suburbia, and I have grown up in the suburbs of Chicago. My wife grew up in Minnesota, but a little bit more rural, but still near a city center. And what are we used to? What are we giving up? What's our current living situation? Why would we want to move out to the middle of nowhere? I wanted to talk about that for a little bit today. And then my wife wanted to also show you some of the things that she's been learning in her camp regarding crop growth. So we've been growing a few different things here at our suburban home with raised beds. She's been doing a lot of research, going on YouTube, doing her own personal research to look at what she could grow up in northern Florida. If you remember from our other videos, we have a whole section cleared out where we're going to put in irrigation. We already have a well that came with the property that we purchased recently. We're going to use that other well for irrigation for raised beds that we're going to put along our driveway that you saw me cut a couple days ago. Our plan is to do raised beds up in that section and fence them off from all the different wildlife that's up there and grow everything with raised beds. Eventually, the plan is also to maybe do some field crops as well. But we thought we would start with raised beds, and that's going to be somewhat of her journey. And I'm going to let her in a little bit share what she's been working on in our backyard. And I also wanted to talk about real briefly, this truck. I love this truck because it's fully electric. And I made a brief mention to it before in a previous video, but this thing allows me to get out in the middle of nature, out in the middle of nowhere, and really not just do, sleep and do well, but it actually allows me to power a lot of different stuff. I'm able to sleep in the back of this thing. I kind of showed you that. I'm able to run my well on our original home site where our home was going to be. I'm able to run our well off the back of this, and I'm able to take showers, obviously in the middle of a field, but I'm able to take a shower when it's really hot outside, and it allows me to have access to water when I normally wouldn't. This also allows me to charge my tools. All of my tools right now are electric, so when I'm taking my chainsaw out or any other implements that I have, I'm able to charge all my batteries off the back of this. I'm able to charge my coffee pot. Coffee is super important in the morning, so I'm able to charge my coffee pot off the back of this in the morning. And it's just great. And it's already paid dividends because as I drive it around in the middle of nowhere, people see this and they have to stop and say hello, which has allowed me to say hi to a lot of different people. So yeah, I've had this in the background of a few videos. I just highly recommend electrification, especially in trucks. I've enjoyed it. And I'm also going to eventually have a video where I'm pulling my tractor in and out. So I am in the process of acquiring a trailer, and you'll see this truck doing farm work. All the farmers up in northern Florida laugh at me because they don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But I'm convinced that we will be able to use this piece of equipment. It's not just a show pony, but it's a workhorse. So that's my plan with the truck moving forward. But let me quickly go over what we're doing, or at least where we've been, what we're doing in the backyard, sort of a little bit about ourselves, and compare that to what we are trying to get away from. So we'll see you soon. So we moved to this house in late 2020. We were moving here from Chicago. My wife finished up schooling in 2020. And we took an opportunity to move to Florida. We really had no reason to move to Florida. We just wanted to be in a place where it was warm, be in a place that was tax friendly. We moved to this neighborhood. Absolutely loved and have enjoyed spending time in this neighborhood. And this is just our home. This is the place that we've built up over the last 4 years. And I just wanted to show it to you. as where we're coming from, just sort of documenting the beginning of our journey of moving out of a neighborhood like this and moving into a homestead in the middle of nowhere. And it's going to be a big transition for us, but we're excited for it. We have enjoyed getting to know our neighbors here in Central Florida. One of the things that we're excited about the property up in Northern Florida is that we will not be in an HOA. We're in nowhere close to being in an HOA up in rural Florida. And we've been somewhat limited in what we could do here. So we just are looking for the freedom to be able to try out new things. So this is just, a snapshot as to what we've been doing, where we've been living. And as we begin to build our house in Northern Florida, we just wanted to show you where we've been and where we're going. So thanks for taking a look at it.
All right, so I was getting lunch ready for everyone today, and I was making guacamole and needed some cilantro from the garden, and my husband felt like this was a good time to kind of share about our garden that we're growing right now, and kind of how we hope to kind of expand on this and take it to our homestead once we have that set up. So right now we just have this in our yard here in Central Florida, near Orlando, and it's December right now. We planted these things about a month ago. My dad put these beds up for us, which was awesome. It's kind of his Christmas gift to me, and me and the boys have had fun planting and watering and kind of seeing how things come along. And it wasn't the ideal growing season for some of these things. We just kind of went with what we could once we had these set up. We got them up a little later than we wanted this year. So we'll see how some of these things do. And then we do have some colder weather crops that we're growing also, and just kind of seeing how different plants do. And it'll be a little different in Northern Florida, what we can grow. But I'll share with you what we have here and a little bit of our goals with the homestead and what we want to grow up there. So in this bed, we have a few different types of tomatoes. We got all these as starters from just a local store, because that's really is the fastest way to get the tomatoes going at this point in the year. So there's mainly a few different kinds of tomatoes. We're going to see how different ones do at this time of year. And this was the area of our area where we planted our garden that gets the most sun. And so that's why we planted the tomatoes here. So we'll see. We have a few tomatoes kind of coming in already. So I'm actually happy to see how well these have done. It's been pretty cold here. It's gotten down into the upper 30s at night. And we've really had a couple of weeks where it's only been in the 60s during the day. And tomatoes, really like hot weather, and they like sun. So I'm pretty happy actually with how the tomatoes are doing. We'll see how much fruit we bear from them. This is definitely something we want in our homestead garden. We want to be able to preserve them in various ways to use throughout the year, even when they're not kind of in their optimal season, because tomatoes are something we love and we use a lot of. So there would be a big benefit for us in having those in our garden. So here it's been interesting. We planted lettuce, and there's a couple more varieties of beans. The beans are, for the most part, coming up pretty quickly. The lettuce is coming in really slowly, and usually lettuce is more of a cold weather crop, so we'll see, maybe it's just coming in slower. But we started this all from seed at the same time. And lettuce is definitely something that we want to grow a lot of on our homestead. It's something that we eat a lot of. Our kids actually really love salads, and it's pretty expensive actually to buy from the store, and hard to keep fresh for long periods of time. So that's something I do look forward to learning more about growing and figuring out which varieties do the best up there, and have fun trying different kinds. So in this bed we have bell peppers, beans, cucumbers, and some summer squash. The bell peppers, again, we got as starters along with the tomatoes and transplanted them. The beans, summer squash, cucumbers all came from seeds, and they're coming up at different rates. We're seeing how they do, and again, some of them may not do well just because it is cold here now, but we're just kind of seeing what we can get this winter, seeing what does well and enjoying what we do get, and teaching our kids about taking care of the plants, and they're having a lot of fun seeing especially the seeds come up. That's been really fun for them. When we do plant our garden on our homestead, we'll definitely be more mindful of the seasons, and doing some research as to what will grow well in different seasons, but our main goal will be things that we really like to eat and that are more expensive to buy and that will do well in that climate. So here is the part of the garden that I was most excited for, and it's something I've done a little bit in past years, especially basil, but this is herbs that we have. So cilantro, basil, mint, thyme, parsley, and oregano. And I look forward to growing even more herbs because we love using fresh herbs in our cooking, and those are very expensive to buy from the store. So this is something that definitely, it's nice to be able to just come out, harvest what you need for the thing that you're cooking at that time, and let the rest continue to grow, and it stays fresh and definitely will save up some money, be more flavorful, and things like that over time. So I'm actually going to go ahead and collect some cilantro now for our lunch, and we'll get back to our cooking.